Welcome. This is the Bird's Eye View Sports Edition. And so BYU and Oregon played, and that was a very good game. But before we get to that, I want to step into something else because I saw this headline that I just kind of had to laugh because it has to do with USC. And, well, here we go. Let me just show you this real quick. So USC, this is from Reign of Troy, written by Evan DeSalle, whoever the hell that is. I don't know. Anyway, it says Pac-12 fails USC football again with bogus TV. Now the thing is what they're talking about is the time frame for the Oregon State and USC football game. They put them in the 7:30 late time slot, and this guy is upset about that. I guess it's the 6:30 p.m. time slot. Sorry, it's even earlier. So it says USC was officially announced to be playing Oregon State at 6:30 p.m. Pacific next Saturday. The Pac-12 network. Yes, the Pac-12 scheduled was likely to be the best game of the week for them to be on the network that half the audience won't be able to see, and an awful 6:30 p.m. time slot where the East Coast will be asleep for. And then it talks about the other Pac-12 games. But this is the thing that I had to laugh about is this guy starts complaining about that's exactly why they're leaving the Pac-12, right? But if you think about it, is this 6:30 time slot exactly the reason you have it is because you're leaving the Pac-12, right? Why would the Pac-12 put you anywhere? In fact, if I was the Pac-12, I wouldn't even televise USC football games. But I think they're contractually obligated to show the game, so I wouldn't put him anywhere on primetime because why? You're leaving in 2 years. You backstabbed the league. You didn't even tell the league that you were thinking about leaving. You just straight up backstabbed the Pac-12, rushed to the money in the Big Ten where you're going to be a mediocre mid-level team. You're going to have to travel 2,500 miles every single away game. But hey, whatever. That's on you. You and UCLA can go have fun in the Big Ten. But guess what? Why is the Pac-12 going to showcase you? They wouldn't. Why would they? That makes zero sense. So this guy is like, oh, this is exactly the reason that they're leaving the Big 12 or the Pac-12. No, this is why you're getting these time slot is because you're leaving the Pac-12. So there's no reason to put you in prime time. But okay, enough of that. That whole thing just kind of bothered me. So let's get back to what we're here to talk about. So, the BYU Oregon game. Now, I had initially worried a little bit about this game until I watched the Baylor game, and I saw that Baylor really didn't have a lot of trouble running against BYU, and I thought that Oregon's just going to run all over BYU. I thought the defense might struggle with the passing because the first couple games there was definitely some open passes, and even in this BYU game they did expose some areas of pass defense that Oregon needs to shore up because there's awful lot of easy open 8, 9, 10-yard plays, and then when they go to that outside edge, Oregon seems to have a hard time stopping that long outside edge pass. All right, so during this game, apparently, there was some things that happened. We'll get into the game in just a minute, but this is another one of the headlines, is Oregon fans filmed shouting offensive chants toward BYU. Utah governor calls the incident religious bigotry. And so so first of all, let me say, what they were saying was completely out of line. It just was. And what they were saying was F the Mormons. And that's just not okay. It's just not. Like, there's no reason that they should have went to some kind of a religious persecution type chant. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. So, like, fuck BYU or screw BYU or the overrated chants or whatever. Fine, it's Autzen Stadium. It gets pretty crazy there. But F the Mormons. I'm not that was definitely, I think, crossing the line. And from what. So it was supposedly the students section, which again is a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old people that have no life experience and are another, just they're not very smart, right? These super young kids just don't think about what they're doing before they do it because they don't really care what the reaction is, or they're trying to get a reaction, right? So I understand how it happened. I absolutely don't agree with what they said. I think it was beyond the scope of what should be in a football game for fans and everything. So I look to Oregon, probably watching some of these videos and maybe taking some steps against some of these students or anything, but there was so many of them. I'm not really sure how you do the whole student section. Although what they may do is put, people around the student section, so something like happens again, like this again, they can actually do something. But Oregon, the university apologized. I don't know what they can do to fix it, but yeah, I do think that part was out of line. Okay, now let's get back to what we're actually here to talk about, and that is the BYU and Oregon game. And so what I want to say first is, if there ever really was a quarterback controversy, it is over. It is absolutely over. But my problem with that is not that it's over, because I was never really one that said Ty Thompson should have started. What I said is Ty Thompson should have played. Ty Thompson should be getting some game experience, which he did in the BYU game, and he had some problems, and they had to put Bo Nix back in the game. But my problem is when I rewatched that game and Ty Thompson was in, I had a real big problem with the rest of the players on the team. They ran some plays, and I thought the blocking was very lackadaisical. It was not crisp. It was not the forceful blocking and the forceful push that they had been getting earlier in the game. And then when Bo Nix came back in, you could see the change in intensity in the line and the receivers and everybody else blocking. That's the kind of the problem I had with that. And I think that's something Dan Lanning is going to have to address, is because just because a backup is in and a game is mostly over doesn't mean that you can let up, right? You have to give that backup first team reps. And what I saw on there was not first team reps. So I was a little disappointed with that aspect. Now, Ty Thompson, I was glad he played. It didn't go well for him, but these are very good learning experience, and it didn't hurt Oregon whatsoever. Yes, BYU scored, but on a very short field. But that also goes to the fact that there are pass plays that Oregon is not defending well right now. And when you go to Washington State, you better defend those passes because they're going to be all over. And that is definitely, I know that BYU was ranked number 12, but I think Washington State's a better team than BYU, and I think Washington State is going to give Oregon some trouble with that passing game. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get over to the stats. Bo Nix had a very, very, very good game. Very good game. In fact, I think there was only 2 passes that didn't hurt Oregon, but I thought were ill-advised. He was 13 for 18 with 222 yards. That's a pretty good ratio of 12.3 yards a pass attempt. I thought there was one play in the second quarter, I think it was the second quarter, and he rolled out to his right, and there was just nobody open. And instead of forcing something he throws it all the way back across the field and out of bounds. I thought that was a wonderful play. I thought that really showed some maturity in him, not to try to force something, not to try to even force it with his legs. There was nothing there available. He could have got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe somebody missed a tackle, got a couple yards, but that was a very, very good, and I'm pretty sure it was a second down play. But that was, to me, that was a very, 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 very good decision, and I was very pleased to see that in Bo Nix. Otherwise, like I said, there was only 2 pass plays that I thought were ill-advised, and out of his 5 missed attempts, I think 3 or 4 of those were just throwaways. They weren't like missed throws. He had, I think, like 2 missed throws out of the whole game, and that was pretty good. Now, when we look at Ty Thompson, he was 1 for 2 with an interception. That interception was not on Ty Thompson. That interception was on whatever receiver it was. I forgot. It hit him right in the hands, and he just bounced it off his hands, and it flew up in the air. That was one of those things that can happen. It wasn't that, I mean, you could see the ball wasn't rocketed to him. It was a perfectly thrown ball that should have been caught, but unfortunately it deflected off hands, and it caused the interception and a super short field for BYU to score. That was not Ty Thompson, but again, it's one of those things where I don't think you saw the best of Oregon when Ty Thompson was in. It seemed like they let down from everywhere. The receivers, to the line, to the running backs. It just didn't go well when Ty Thompson was in. And what that really shows you is that the team is really behind Bo Nix, and they believe in Bo Nix. Because when Bo Nix is in, they play a very different ball game. And that's not a bad thing, but it is something that has to be addressed, because when the backup comes in, if, let's say, Bo Nix is hurt or something, that can't happen. Those have to be first-team reps every single time Ty Thompson's in, not only to help his development, but to help that team be consistent. All right, so from there on out, let's see. So we had no 100-yard rushers, and we had no 100-yard receivers, although we had 212 rushing yards, and we had 227 receiving yards, which shows a very, very, very good balance of that game. Is they are able to get yards from both the passing game and the receiving game. Now, there was 44 carries, including 9 from Bo Nix, and there was 14 receptions. Oregon wasn't forced to throw the ball all over the place, but if you look at these averages, these are unreal. Average 28 yards, average 19 yards, average 26 yards, average 12 yards, average 22 yards, average 9.5 yards, average 6 yards, average 5 yards, average 3 yards, for a team average of 16.2 yards a pass attempt. That is very, very, very efficient passing game. But the yeoman's work was Marquise Irving and Noah Winnington combined for 27 carries for 163 yards, and both of them 6.9 yards a carry and 5.1 yards a carry. Even Jordan James got in there and had 6 carries for 33 yards at 5.5 yards a carry. When you average 3 backs of 30 plus carries and every single one of those guys is 5 yards or better on carries, your run game is working. And that was really great to see. Originally I thought that them not having a go-to running back would hurt the team a little bit, but I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I've completely changed my mind. This running by committee allows for not only fresh legs, it reduces some of the pounding that these guys take, but they are in it for the team, right? Like, it just shows that they're doing a team game, and that's what they care about, and that's very important. I love this team chemistry. I love how they're building. And here's the thing: we're only in game 3. Oregon is only going to get better. May they have a hiccup, another hiccup during the year? Sure, they might, because that happens, especially with very young teams. But this was a very, very, very good test. It's a very good thing that shows Oregon has put that Georgia game behind them. They dominated the number 12 team in the nation. So I think some of these ranking things, should Oregon have been as high as they were in the beginning? I don't know, because Georgia has pretty much done this with everything. I think yesterday's game for Georgia was the first touchdown that has been scored against them. And that just is going to happen all year long. They're just a very good team. I don't know that anybody's really on their level yet. But we'll see. The Pac-12 had a very good day. You had Washington beating number 11 Michigan State. You had Arizona winning. You had Washington State winning. You had Oregon State winning. USC won. So a very good day for the Pac-12. They took number 11 and number 12 teams by Oregon and Washington. Utah also won. So very good day for the Pac-12. And overall, I thought the game went very well. Like I said, the only time I really wasn't pleased in that game was when Ty Thompson came in. I felt like the team let down. Other than that, it was a great win. We move on, and I'm pretty sure we go to Washington State next week. Yes, Washington State next week at 1 p.m. So another test for Oregon. We have an away game against a very good Washington State team. We'll see what Oregon does and how they do, and see if they can build on what they've done here. And we'll see you next week. Much love, all.